And now it's Deborah Kobylt Live and the Little Italy podcast.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for our Little Italy podcast and on Deborah Kobylt Live. And I'm thrilled to welcome now a friend to our show, Carlo Ponti, Maestro Carlo Ponti. And he's here to join us to talk about his upcoming concert series that is beginning October 20th, right? At the Raymond Cabaz Theater. Would you tell us about that? And thank you for joining us.
Thank you again for having me on your show, Deborah. It's a pleasure, as always, to be here.
Yeah.
We are opening, that's right, we're opening our season October 20th at the Cabaz Theater, which is our home venue in West Los Angeles, a beautiful, intimate theater. And we're opening the season with a very, very interesting program. Actually, interestingly enough, you know, the LA Virtuosi is its mission is to support music education and young talent. And this performance actually features four masterworks for string orchestra, and coincidentally enough, three of the masterworks were written by the composers when they were in their teens.
Oh,
so it's a very interesting program. It's rather, it spans many time periods. We'll start with Eric Satie's Gymnopédie No. 2, the arrangement for string orchestra. Since we perform at the Cabaz Theater, we want to make sure to include something of the French repertoire in every program. Then we will perform Mozart's Divertimento in B flat major K137, written when Mozart was in his teens. Beautiful ebullient work from Mozart's early period. It's really a little gem, and it's part of a triptych of three divertimenti only for strings, which he composed in Salzburg. So fantastic, and of course always genial work that we will feature. And then after we perform the Mozart, we'll segue into Franz Schubert's Rondo in A major for string orchestra and solo violin. And we're blessed to have for the performance the return of a wonderful young soloist, which has performed many times with the orchestra, Yoo Eun Kim. Fantastic
yes.
soloist. She's wonderful, and she will, any doubt, grace the performance with her virtuosity. And finally, the ending work, which will conclude our program, is Carl Nielsen's Little Suite for String Orchestra, Opus 1. It's his first opus. He also wrote it when he was in his teens, as did Schubert, the Rondo in A major. So very, very effusive and a very youthful program for our opening concert of the season.
It's such an exceptional venue as well, right? I mean, I think everyone has their favorite seat when they tend to go to the orchestra. I like to be off to the right and toward the back, and very often I will close my eyes because I can hear each instrument in a way. Everyone absorbs it in a different way. It's so stunning the way you compose this, Carlo. It really, really is. And you don't have to be an aficionado to really enjoy the program, right? I brought friends, I brought my husband, and we do the same thing. We sort of take it in and decide where we want to sit, where we want to take in the beauty of the music. It's really, really a stunning, stunning evening. And I love the thought that goes into it. The young soloist with the seasoned. That's amazing. Now, the Los Angeles Virtuosi Orchestra is yours. You began that, right? Could you tell our audience, for those who aren't familiar with it, what that's about?
Right. It's an orchestra which supports music education in various ways. We partner with specific schools every year, and we support music education in various ways. One of the ways is that we collect all the net profits from our concerts and give it to the music education programs of our partner schools to develop the programs, to, for example, buy musical instruments, buy music method books. Also, we sponsor players from our own orchestra to teach instrumental classes in the schools, which gives the students the chances to be taught by some of the best players in Los Angeles. And also, we support the study of music by directly integrating in our concerts young soloists, which of course will be the case throughout the season. And this is not an orchestra. It's not a youth orchestra. It's
Right.
an orchestra composed by professionals and some of the best in Los Angeles, which perform many freelance musicians. Some perform with the LA Philharmonic, some perform with the LA Chamber Orchestra, with the LA Opera, and it gives young soloists the chance to get really exposed to really push the way that they perform, to give their best, and to be exposed to a real life situation, so to speak.
Mm. When did you decide that this was something that's actually critical to have music in our school systems? Because very often, especially in the public school systems, there's not the funding to have it there. Was it because of your own children? Now you have children and you thought, gosh, this isn't in some of the schools. I need to do something.
Well, I think that in the United States, especially, the arts and music as well have been undercut from programs because the funds are directed, of course, to mathematics, to reading, and to literature, et cetera, et cetera. And so it's in a sense very natural for nonprofits like the Los Angeles Virtuoso Orchestra to fill in the gap and to provide and to help schools with their music programs, to help also young talents to expose themselves with an orchestra. So it was something very natural. And throughout my career, I always tried to give back for the next generation, to focus on education as well, apart from just performance.
Hmm. How do you select some of the young soloists that will be part of the program?
Well, we auditioned them. Of course, there's a lot of soloists which would like to play with us every season. So we
Yeah.
auditioned them, and so those that those that we select have the chance to have a concert with a professional orchestra and to expose themselves uh, to the public, and also so for their career and for their experience, for their education experience, it's really an unparalleled experience.
Hmm. And you live here, right? So a lot of people are saying, wait a minute, I don't even know if he lives here. You live here, right? So you understand the need for the music education. Would you tell our audience a little about you?
I live in California. I spend my time between Los Angeles and also of course Europe. But I mean, Los Angeles is the second largest school district in the nation
Yeah.
after New York, and so it was a very natural occurrence for the orchestra to be based in Los Angeles because we can really change the lives of so many young people here.
Yeah. Now the 23-24 season is composed of how many concerts will you be having? And where will they be? They
We have
won't
three
all go ahead.
performances.
Hmm.
We have three performances. One, as usual, one in the fall, one in the winter, and one in the spring. And as I said, we feature young soloists at every performance. And it's a wonderful season. It spans the gamut of many time periods. We have a wonderful selection of Baroque, classical, contemporary works. And the mid-season concert in January will feature the debut of my son, Vittorio, performing Johann Sebastian Bach's first keyboard concerto in January, on January 7th at the St. James Church as part of the Great Music in St. James concert series. So I'm very happy about that.
As soon as you mentioned his name, your face was beaming. It's incredible, right? I mean, tell us about him because I know that your two children are incredibly talented. Clearly, he wouldn't be doing this if you didn't think he was ready, right? So tell us a little bit about your family, your children.
I have two kids, Victoria and Beatrice. Beatrice is she played the guitar for a while, but now she's in between instruments. She also played the violin before, but Victoria has been playing the piano for about 10 years now, and
Mm.
this is his first performance with an orchestra, with a string orchestra in this case. And I'm very proud. He's he's practicing a lot. He's really putting a lot of effort into it. And so this will be a very good experience for him and for me to work together with him and to dedicate ourselves to a specific project and then have that project come to fruition and really strive for excellence in the performance.
Yeah, it's also a beautiful venue at the St. James, right? It's just stunning there.
St. James is a wonderful church. It's a historic church. And that particular concert will be live streamed because they have a live stream capability in the church.
Hmm. Hmm. So, music, I believe, the talent, a lot of it comes from your mother's maternal side. Isn't that correct? Mom is, of course, the legendary Sophia Loren. And for some reason, somebody didn't know that already. Your father, the legendary Carlo Ponti, filmmaker. My all-time favorite film, of course, Dr. Zhivago, good heavens. And your brother is a filmmaker as
Director.
well, a director, film director. When I know that he worked with your mom, I believe last year, the film. But tell us what that's like. Just music is just running through the family, particularly mom's side, right? Grandma.
Music was very my grandmother on my mother's side was an accomplished pianist. She never really had a career, but she was very, very talented musically. My mother is very talented musically. She sang throughout her career. She even put out a few records. Her sister, my aunt, also is very talented musically. So for my mother's side of the family, there's a very recurring musical talent running through the lineage. Also, my brother is very musically inclined. Not my father so much. On my father's side, it was a little less musical, but so music was always a part of my life. It's something that I always grew up with. My parents were very big aficionados of also classical music, of every genre of music, really. And my father was the one to admonish me to become a conductor when I was a pianist. He said, conducting is a much more complete musical activity, and you should look into it. And so I took his advice, and I went to a conducting school a long time ago now, in Hartford, Connecticut, which was called the Conductors Institute. And so my first impact with the profession was very positive, and I really liked it. Got a lot of good feedback from the musicians of the orchestra, from the faculty at the institute. So it was really wonderful, and it's something that I could really express myself in rather easily. And so I decided to make it a part of my life, and to this day, I'm very privileged to be doing this profession.
Yeah. You also worked with a Russian orchestra. You worked in San Bernardino. Could you tell our audience a little bit about that, about some of the experiences you've had?
I was associate conductor of the Russian National Orchestra for about 18 years.
Wow.
And I rarely conducted them in Moscow where they're based, but I used to conduct them on tours when they came to the US.
Hmm.
And which was great because right out of college, I got this position with this world-class orchestra, which in the
Wow.
sense, it spoils you because you, from the first rehearsal, everything is kind of there, and so it's a very different animal from a local orchestra or from a student orchestra, let's say. So, and also I was conductor of the San Bernardino Symphony for 13 years, a local orchestra, and which gave me the chance of doing a lot of repertoire. I was very, very blessed about that. I could pretty much, I had, a big decision factor in what we would program every season. So I got a lot of repertoire under my belt when I was music director of the San Bernardino Symphony, and so I was very fortunate that from a very young age I got two positions, one with a world-class orchestra, another one with a local but nevertheless very good orchestra. And so it was great, and it really gave me the chance to really get a lot of repertoire.
You said in the past that often your mother and your brother will give you advice, right, on something, and you'll go to them and they'll say, well, this is, working, this is not. Do you often sometimes continue to go to them for advice with your work, or do they give it?
It's a good point. My mother and brother are very artistic, and whenever I can, I play for them a concert. I often video rehearsals, and I play them the footage, and they're very, very keen on always pointing out very interesting factors and things that always make me grow as an artist and make me notice certain things which I hadn't noticed.
Hmm. Was there something in particular growing up? I mean, I've asked you this before, but a little glimpse into the life of growing up in your home. It must have been extraordinary, but I guess to you it was ordinary, right? Because this is how you grew up. These were your parents. When did you know that you grew up with incredibly talented, um, world-known, legendary parents? And what was that like?
Well, you never come to that realization because
Right.
they're your reality, you know.
That's
So
right.
so
That's right.
I cannot remember when I realized that my mother was a famous film actress and my father was a film producer. Um, it just always was.
Yeah, exactly.
And but the biggest element in the realization of who my parents are, I think, is a never-ending pride of belonging to such an artistic legacy.
Yeah.
It's really great because what both represent is so significant, not only as filmic, in the filmic medium and in the filmic culture, but also culturally in a more broad sense. My mother and my father represent a big part of Italian culture, where represent Italy itself, I think. And so to be a part, I always joke, it's like I'm the son of a queen, really. You know, so sometimes it's a bit of a difficult burden to bear because you're judged, vis-a-vis your parents' work and so on and so forth. But it's always the positives outweigh the negatives.
Oh, absolutely. And they are about the work, right? And they pass that along to you and your brother, right? It's about the excellence of the work, not about who you are, what your name is, and which I think is beautiful. And you can see that in your work and in your brother's work. Um, what was mom like at home? Was there always music playing? Did she read to you? I mean, imagine for the rest of us thinking, gosh, what was that like growing up in such a household?
She was always very dedicated and very focused
Yeah.
on the value of excellence, on the value of working hard, of dedicating yourself, of really standing out, of really producing excellence.
Hmm.
That's something that she was always, and she really instilled that in me and my brother. The importance of excelling, the importance of dedicating yourself to something. Uh, so that's a mantra, the dedication to excellence, the pursuit of excellence. It's something that me and my brother always were exposed to. And to this day, with our work, we strive to really bring forth excellence in what we do.
And your father as well. As you were watching his films as a young person, did you study them? Did you go back and look at them again and again? Because, it's such artistry. Did you do that? Or what did he also teach you about the music and about filmmaking and the work?
I never really was an authority on
Mm,
my mother's films, really. To be honest, only now have I seen more of them.
mm,
Um, but it was the atmosphere at home, this energy that she had, For example, when I was practicing piano, she would sit there and she would say, "Practice more. We have to excel in this concert, excel in this competition." Also, as a conductor, you have to practice your piece. Make sure and how is the concert going, and then I would see her prepare scripts as well. So it was the domestic atmosphere really, which really showed me what a dedicated artist she was, and also that my father was. Um,
Mm.
and and in many cases, my profession as a conductor, I always say that it's very much, it's in a sense a sister profession. It's very parallel to what both of my
Oh,
parents
yeah.
do. The producer, the actress. You have to, as a producer, you have to, you know, especially in my case. I mean, with the LA Virtuosi, I'm really a jack of all trades. I fundraise, I
Right.
do the programs, I do the marketing, I conduct, I do everything in the orchestra. So I look for the funds. So I'm a producer. I have to have an interpretive vision of the works when I conduct them. As a director, has to have an interpretive vision of the film. I emote the pieces when you conduct. I communicate to the musician the emotions in the music and the character of the phrasing in the music, and to the audience as well. So it's akin to an actor communicating emotions. So that they're very, very similar. They're very similar professions as producing, directing, and acting, actually.
Mm. What advice would you give to young people who want to become a conductor, who want to do what you do, who are inspired by watching what you do?
Um, you have to, of course, dedicate yourself, practice, and study
Mm.
the scores, and try to conduct as many orchestras as you can. Because part of conducting is, of course, the response that you get from the orchestra. You can study the score on your own for hours and hours, and then when you get in front of the orchestra, when there's physical occurrences going on, when you have the music being actually performed by instruments, you see different elements come into play, different challenges come into play, which you didn't face when you didn't have the orchestra in front of you. So definitely get time with an orchestra, with student orchestras as much as you can, and you have to love the material, love these
Mm.
beautiful works that all these composers wrote. But that's natural. That's something that you don't have to teach somebody. That's automatic. You automatically love it, and that's what it really is. You can study this music forever, and any music that's repertoire, or that's written by a talented composer, and you never get tired of it. You always see different facets of it whenever you perform it.
Mm. Absolutely beautiful. Anything you care to add for our audience to know about you, to know about the Los Angeles Virtuosi Orchestra, particularly where they can donate, how they can donate, and the importance of the program?
Sure, you can. Any information, our website is LA Virtuosi. That's LAVIRTUOSI.org, lavirtuosi.org, and we have all the programs featured on the website, as well as a donate page. So any donation helps to change the lives of young people through music education.
Yeah, and to me, music education is not just so a person can learn to play an instrument, but it crosses over all boundaries, right? If you're interested in math or science, any of the arts, it just expands our minds. So it's so critical. I think it's right up there with learning reading and writing. I do because I think it enhances our learning for reading and writing, and I think it's very important what you're doing. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah. And everybody, please shout out again Friday, October 20th, um, 8 o'clock at the
Friday,
Cabaz
October
Theater.
20th.
Yeah.
Friday, October 20th, 8 p.m. at the Théâtre Raymond Cabas in West Los
Yeah.
Angeles.
And there's a Facebook page. You can go to the LAV page to get tickets. Please donate. This is really an important program that Carlo is has been doing now for what, since about 10 years now you've been
This
doing
is
this?
our this is the beginning of our ninth season, so about 10
Yeah.
years now.
Beautiful. And we look forward to not just this performance, but the other two in 2024. So, just join us there. I'll be there. I'll be there with a group of friends who are coming. So I'm very excited about that. Some who have not yet seen you perform. So they're very, very excited to do that. So thank you for joining us, Carlo. Thank you very much. Please, please give our best to your mom. It was exciting to see you join her. I believe, were you at the Venice Film Festival with her?
That was Eduardo. That was my brother, but we celebrated the Arena di Verona's 100th anniversary in Verona, Italy in June together.
In June. It was beautiful to see you together. You were beaming and you look so much like your mom. It's incredible. When you
Thank
see
you.
you side by side, I thought, oh my gosh, she looks like his mom. And of course, I believe your brother looks a lot more like your dad. So, just following you and your brother with your beautiful mother who's given us so much. So please thank her from us. All right. And we mean that sincerely. So thank you very much. Everybody, we
Thank you,
look
Deborah.
forward to seeing, we look forward to seeing you all at the upcoming performance. And join the Facebook page. Please donate. And you can find our interview with Carlo on all audio and video podcast platforms. We're on YouTube, we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram. And then, of course, we're on iHeartRadio and Amazon and iHeart, Apple. So please look up our podcast and find our interview with Carlo Ponti. Thank you all for joining us. I'm your host, Deborah Zara.